So we are live now. And I give directly to Greg since he's for all this welcome thing and so on.
Okay, so good to talk to you, Cub, my good friend from Germany, and welcome to our stream, the Madam Web stream. And it should be hopefully a good time. We have a lesser list today, so not as long of a show, but it should be lots of fun. And how are you
Yes.
doing, Cub?
Yeah, I'm fine. And also, our small list is thanks to the writer's strike. It's not our
Oh,
fault.
that's right. This is yeah, we lost content, or we'd be having lots of stuff to analyze.
Yeah, but
Okay.
to be fair, we just lost garbage, I would say, because these writers they produce only garbage anyway in the last years. Don't
Yeah,
you think so?
I think a lot of it's because they don't have any life experience. They're in these bubbles of I don't know what you'd call it. They're just not out in the world. I don't think because
Yeah,
they don't know how other people actually live and react. I think they're just going from what they hear. It's very weird. But if you look at the great writers of previous generations, a lot of them had been to war or had had interesting lives, and I think these are just insulated little children who don't know what the real world is like, and they don't. That's why they can't write.
yes, and talking about people who can't write and also can't act and also are miscast completely horribly. Let's talk about one movie that you haven't seen, but I have seen at the beginning because I'm not going to talk about it very long. It's the Bob Marley movie, which I saw
Bob
yesterday.
Marley,
Yeah.
he's
And,
a Rastafarian, wasn't he?
uh,
I
yes,
think that's
and this movie is complete garbage. If you don't know anything about Bob Marley after the movie, you even know less about him. It's miscast with this guy here from Secret Invasion, the bad guy from Secret Invasion. Can you remember the third?
yeah. I'm trying. I can't remember his name, but I can remember his face.
Yeah, the guy who phoned it in Secret Invasion, who was
Yeah,
just there. Yeah, and here he looks like kind of like Bob Marley, but completely unbelievable. And if you compare his performance to the real one, because they are live shows, you can watch them and things
right.
like that. And uh, the whole movie is it 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 starts with a in 1976 with a concert in Jamaica, this peace concert where he got shot before that. He and his family, and still went to make it, and uh, and then you get during during the movie you get flashbacks to his childhood a little bit, and how the whalers started their career, kind of, but not really. And they leave out so many things. It's unbelievable how much they leave out. The whole thing is just about 2 years, from 1976 to 1978, and Bob Marley died in 1981. And it starts out with text, yeah, with text messages, or what you call it, uh, when there's something written on the screen.
Um.
Like in the silent movie era.
Oh, I don't. I'm not sure what a
Text,
description.
yeah, text card or not. you call that a text card when
Oh,
when
well, like
there's
where they hold up a card that's written on.
nobody
I know what
holds
you're.
nobody holds up a card. It's just written on a black screen.
Oh wow, I'm
And
not sure of the technical term for that.
yeah, so yeah, we call it text card here in Germany. And by the way, hi Orloff, nice to see you here.
Hey, Orloff.
So it starts with text card where it tells you kind of in Jamaica there is are these fractions whatsoever, and it starts directly in the middle. So he's already a superstar, but you don't get any feeling of that because everything looks so small. It's this could be a superstar or he could be nobody, like he's portrayed in the movie. You don't really get the feeling of what he has achieved till then and how he achieved that.
His struggle, you might say.
Yes, his career, his life, something like Ray. I thought Ray was really a very good biopic, even if it didn't stick 100% true to what really happened, but still you kind of got the feeling for who Ray Charles was. That's at least what I thought after
Yeah,
I saw it.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, but this is nothing like that. This is it's just it looks cheap as hell. It then he goes away from Jamaica and makes a tour through Europe, but you just see his time in London, but also not the whole time. But everything feels like on a very small scale. So it's hard to describe. For me, this is just not worthy of Bob Marley. He's deserved so much better. It reminded me so much on this other god awful biopic here, which was also completely miscast. Ali, about Muhammad Ali, the
Oh,
god
Muhammad
awful one.
Ali.
Yeah, with Will Smith. Will Smith as Muhammad Ali. This horrible.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah.
Man, and Muhammad Ali would get off all his what would you call them, quips or sayings or whatever. Never saw anybody like that.
Yeah,
And he had a great relationship with who was that sportscaster? Anyway, yeah, he deserved a better biopic, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the reason why I can't stand Will Smith anymore. And
Howard
also,
Cosell, that was it.
and,
Muhammad Ali and Howard Cosell. I can remember them doing like bits together, and they were a big thing back then. It really deserved a much better movie. And I see what you're
yes,
saying about Bob Marley. He was a very special individual who deserved a proper biopic, right?
yes, there are a few people I really care about, and one of them is Muhammad Ali. One of them is Bob Marley. One of them is Bruce Lee, and they deserve better. These biopics that they do about them, they're god awful garbage. They're just bad. It's really you don't get the sense of how important these people were back then, or still are, and really it's a shame. At least Ray Charles got a decent one, and but it's still really it bugs me
Well,
every
Bob
time I.
Marley, Muhammad Ali, Ray Charles, these are cultural phenomenon. I would throw like Johnny Cash in there as well. And
Yes,
he didn't get a great biopic either.
yeah, it's for me. It was also again these casting decisions, which I think are just horrible. Who makes these stupid decisions? And with Bob Marley, it's really this looks so cheap. You would think this is a TV movie or something like that, or direct to video, or this has nothing.
Wow.
This has and the music
Do you know the
choices
budget on
also.
it?
Oh, it was cheap. I
Orloff
think.
says it's directed by Michael Mann. Is that correct?
Yeah, Ali, not Bob Marley.
Oh, okay. I didn't have my glasses on. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and
I just try
Ali.
to include the chat.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's also the reason why I can't stand Michael Mann anymore, because he and Will Smith, for me, they destroyed the chance to have one of the greatest people ever who were ever on this planet, to give them a really good biopic. And it's just because this Will Smith fuck thinks he's a great actor, but he isn't. The only thing he is good in is Prince from Bel Air and Man in Black, and that's it. That's it. Everything else he's in, he
I think
sucks.
Will Smith, in that case, he was unable to convey the type of personal magnetism that that he had. That man, he could be a beast in the ring, and he could come out and just rattle off one-liners left and right. He would get back and forth with Howard Cosell. They conveyed none of that, none of what I remember of Muhammad Ali. It's really hard to describe. You kind of had to experience it.
Yeah. Can you remember the one about this hurricane guy? He played by Denzel Washington.
Oh yes, the
This,
Hurricane and the
yeah,
song,
yes.
a song by who's the big artist? They called it the Hurricane. God,
Bob Geldof.
there's a song that's about the fighter, the Hurricane, and
Yeah, no,
any,
I can remember it. It also was in the movie, and
yeah, right, right.
somebody
So
like that.
that was my first. I'd heard the song way back when, and so I investigated the case myself when I was quite young. So
Yeah,
before the movie ever came out, I was well aware of the hurricane situation, and police do throw innocent people in jail all the time.
yeah, and for me, this is so bugging for me that uh, uh, for Hurricane, they got a really great actor like Denzel Washington who really could sell the part. But
Yeah,
for Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, they take somebody like Will Smith. Really?
at least it
This.
wasn't his son. His son is
Uh,
so bad.
oh no!
What was that
Hey,
terrible movie he was in with him?
hey,
Was it?
hey! That's part two. The son of Muhammad Ali. They make a series.
Right. Yeah, so they did Bob Marley wrong. That's terrible.
It's
I was
so
looking forward to that movie,
it's just 90 minutes or something like that, but you feel every minute, because even with the great music and everything, you still feel every minute, and it doesn't feel at any moment. You can't enjoy it at any moment, because you get that it's not complete. It has a horrible structure where it decides with the flashback what to show and what not to show. You never get the sense of who Bob Marley was and how big he was back then, because it starts directly where he is already a superstar worldwide. So
Yeah.
this is complete crap. This is complete garbage. This movie. Yeah, but we can talk about it next time when you have seen it. And
Okay.
yeah, and the only reason why it gets some people into the cinema is, of course, there's no competition. There's nothing else that people can watch. So
I think that's a testament to Bob Marley himself. His lasting legacy. His name is drawing people in because
yeah,
you're talking about weed heads and people of all races and stuff. I don't know. Even a bad movie, it's like the Johnny Cash deal or whatever. You're gonna get those fans in, they're going to watch it. Even if they don't like the movie, they're going to go support it because of who it was. Because they're not going to have a Bob Marley movie just turn out like, nobody goes to see it. No.
Yeah,
It's the
no,
same thing with like Star Trek, the motion picture. Even though word of mouth wasn't good at the time, everybody went to see it and went to see it several times because, they weren't going to let Star Trek die like that.
yeah, but at least we got a really good movie with the first Star Trek movie, and
Yeah,
the
but
second
people
one
didn't
is
see
even
it as a
better.
good movie because it wasn't what they were expecting.
Yeah, what they were expecting was the second one, The Wrath of God.
That's true. And they got the Wrath of Khan because of the reaction to the first one. But I'm just saying, at the time, it wasn't good word of mouth. It was a long, slow, boring movie, and yet people went to go see it. So
Yeah,
I think in a way I'm just comparing it to Bob Marley because I think some people it came out kind of flat, and they're like, you know what, we're not going to let this happen. We're going to go see the thing even though word of mouth hasn't been good. And in the case of Star Trek, it was a very good movie, but it, like you say, it wasn't what people were expecting. And they were expecting Wrath of Khan, and that was great. So.
yeah. But Bob Marley, you can better compare to crap like this horrible other ones that we got here from Elton John and this other one from the Queen singer. What's his name?
Oh God, that was bad. Is it that
Freddie
bad?
Mercury. It's worse. It's even worse because the other
Oh
ones,
no.
they were at least they had some production value. These other ones. This thing looks like a Blumhouse production. Even worse. At
Oh
least
wow.
Blumhouse, they can hide their low production value. Okay, of course they can't hide it from me, but from most people they can hide it. But this is, and this director, I looked him up. He didn't make anything worth note or something like that. He seems to be an activist director, something like that. I don't know. And yeah, but as I said, I'm not even an expert on Bob Marley. I'm just like his music. I have no idea who he was as a person, and there are so many more. For example, here my best friend Mehmet, he's a huge Bob Marley fan, and I'm really curious to hear what he has to say about this movie because he
I am
has.
too. We ought to bring him on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, just for one segment,
Yeah, let's see. But as I said, and even I got pissed off when I saw it. And I'm not even an expert on Bob Marley. But if even I get pissed off, then you can say there's something wrong with that. That's for sure.
Hey, that's true. It's one thing you can say about dope smokers or weed heads or whatever. They don't seem to be worried about racism and all this other stuff. They don't care what color you are. They just want to get a buzz and everybody get along. Yeah, it's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, we have legalized weed here in Germany. April 1st. You
What?
can, yes, April 1st, you can legally smoke here, and you can have 25 grams with you if you want, and
Oh man.
all these things. You can have
So Germany's turning cool?
yes,
That's hard to believe.
yeah, the guy who
How did y'all
committed
get that done?
the guy who committed genocide here with these vaccinations, our Minister of Health, he wants to put sand in the eyes of the people by allowing them to smoke weed because he thinks everybody here is stupid and forgets his horrible crimes against humanity. So that's the
Maybe he's just
only
trying to
reason.
get everybody to mellow out, huh? It's like
Yes, yes,
it's like if they're high, they won't figure out what he's doing, right?
Yes, and with the wheat heads, it works. I asked some people about it, and they say, "Oh, yeah, he's cool. At least he makes wheat legal." And I remind them that this is a horrible guy who is still making who still tries to vaccinate people and things like that, and he should be judged for his crimes. He shouldn't be a minister at all. But they say, "Oh no, it's cool. That's the only thing that counts for them. This
Yeah.
wheat thing."
Well, they're like abortion people. They're like one issue voters. You know, all they care
Yeah.
about is that. They don't care about anything else.
Yes, but still, it won't help him. The party is going to lose. The only thing that can save them is when they um, make
Well, when they lose, they can smoke a joint and feel better about it, right?
no, when they make here when there's a war or something like that, and they
Uh,
make a military dictatorship or something like that. That's the only thing that would prevent them from losing the next election. And
oh, I see.
yeah, and they are criminals. They are capable to do that for sure. They want to change the laws already, that the next party can't put in their judges and things like that, like they did the last 80 years. And
Oh, wow.
yes, and they have made new laws on free speech, and want now that everybody
Y'all are
who
going to
is
be freer now? Yay.
no, everybody who's criticizing the government can go to jail now. So
What?
yes, I told you this is 1984. I told you since 4 years that it's getting worse and worse every day here, but nobody is believing me.
Well, if you pass that law in America, we'd all be in jail. All Americans do is bitch about our government, and we got
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah, and in
We don't want
France,
to go to war all over the place, you know.
yeah,
We don't want to be the world's policeman. At least we don't want that shit in Texas. We
yeah,
never have been like that. I
in
mean, yeah,
France,
if you attack us, we will respond. But other than that, we don't need to have a bunch of alliances everywhere because that just sucks you into wars, you know?
yeah, and they try now to get people the weapons from the people even more than already, with bogus reasons. Oh yeah, we are searching for these right extremists, and that they shouldn't be allowed to carry a
So
weapon and
a
things
right
like that.
wing and look, I've looked at their politics. They're afraid of the the virus or whatever, but they're allowing people to swarm in over their borders who aren't being tested, and it's the same thing as here. How can you be antivirus and pro having checked people? Like in the last few years, we've had like 8 million at least illegals come across our borders because of Biden,
Yeah.
and these people aren't being screened medically or anything, and we're having old diseases like tuberculosis and measles and all these other things that used to be eradicated. They are popping up in our population now.
Yes. Yes, and you can thank Biden for that, and the Democrats.
I know that, but in Germany, if you point this stuff out, you're considered like a right wing extremist. Am I
Yes,
right?
you
Yeah.
considered a right-wing extremist who can lose his job and even go to jail. That's here in
Yeah, and
Germany.
that's not right. That's suppression of free speech. That's anti-human. I'm not saying anti-American. I'm saying anti-human. Anywhere on the planet, people should have the right to speak freely and defend themselves.
Yes,
That's just me.
I agree with you, and that's the reason why my last video started out with this fascism quote, where I say the new fascism is not going to say I'm fascism. He's going to
Oh, they're
say
going to say they're anti-fascist, like
I'm
Antifa.
anti-fascist.
Those
Yeah,
people are
anti-fascist.
fascist. You're exactly right about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, it's getting worse every day here, and um, I'm just waiting for the people finally to wake up, the last sleeping sheep, and then probably we get here civil war or something like that. I don't know. It's like it's the same situation like in America, exactly the same situation. Because
Well, in America, we're we have these political divisions where we're probably going to break off from the rest of the country. Texas and a big chunk of the central U.S. I can see it clearly now. Is going to have to break off. It's going to be all different, and
yeah,
there's
but
not going to be money for billions for Israel and all this other stuff in the future. It's
Ukraine,
not going to happen.
Ukraine.
Yeah,
Don't forget
I,
Ukraine.
yeah, and Ukraine. I mean, I'm not against Ukraine. I don't want anybody to be invaded and all that stuff. So to me, it seems like Yankees coming in. You know how I feel about Yankees. So I don't know, man. I don't know that it's worth it for the Ukrainians to keep trying to push this out, though. I see it like I'm looking at World War One, and I always look back at that war, and I was like, oh my God, how did they just keep pouring these people into this meat grinder from both sides? And I just wish we could find some way to shut it down.
Yeah, but Greg, the problem is that in 2014, the U.S. government started this putsch in the Ukraine, and since then there is already war in the Ukraine because the new government, the fascist government, the neo-Nazis,
yeah, I know all
they
that.
were
I know all that.
yeah,
But
they were fighting against the Russian people in Ukraine, in these Russian areas of Ukraine where many Russians live.
I understand what you're saying, and I think honestly, I think Ukraine ought to cede those Russian territories to the Russians. The Russians are crazy, and they're not going to stop fighting. This has been 2 years. They're not going to stop fighting. It's not worth it. We can't fund this forever. I'm for people defending themselves, but I'm not for me paying for you to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and as I said, it's not defending themselves when they are making war since 2014. Since 10 years, they are making war against their own civilians, against the Russian-speaking civilians. Did you even know that that in the last years before the war began, that the language Russian was forbidden for the people who were Russians? They weren't allowed to speak or write Russian. That was forbidden. This is not a democracy.
They still don't get to attack the other. I'm going to say this. I listened to Putin's speech, and I've listened to you, and I've listened to everybody, and it reminds me of these people are coming into a land, and they're saying, okay, we used to own this land hundreds of years ago, so now we get to take it over again. And it reminds me of what's happening in Palestine with the Israelis. And I don't agree with the Israelis grabbing the Palestinian land,
Yeah,
even though they say, look, I'm just saying they've got their, okay, 2,000 years ago, this was ours. You can't do that. You can't come into Texas and say, hey, Spain used to have this hundreds of years ago, so the Spanish should get it back. I'm sorry,
no,
and there's lots of.
Greg, you can't compare that because when you talk about Palestine, you're talking about thousands of years, not hundreds of years.
Yeah, I know, but
and when you talk about when you talk about Ukraine, you are talking about 50 years or something like that.
Yeah, 30 years, maybe 300. Depends on how you cut it.
Some of the leaders of the USSR were Ukrainian.
I know.
They were Ukrainian. The Ukrainian was Russian. That was not. It's not a completely different country.
Billy, I understand everything you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. But I have my own feelings that I would like the war to stop. And I don't want them to continue this horrible war of attrition.
Yes,
And I think the Ukrainians should probably give them that, because I don't think they're ever going to be able to drive them out. Now, do they have the right to try to drive them out? Yes, indeed. I'm all for your right to defend your country. Is it a good idea? Do I need to fund it? Do I think that it's good for your people to slaughter themselves? No, I don't.
yeah, and yeah, I see it the
Yeah,
same
I'm
way.
sorry.
And
I have complex views on this situation.
no, that's okay. For me, it's even worse as a German, because as a German, we have nothing to do with the Ukraine, but we have to listen to news day and night. We have 1 million Ukrainians here in Germany
Oh my
who
God.
live from our money. They just come here and they make more than one account, because the Ukrainians have a special treatment. They are not asked any questions. They just arrive and get the money directly,
Oh
and
man.
get a place to live. And German people have to live on the street. For them
Well,
there's no living space anymore, and things like that. And some of the Ukrainians, they come with big cars, and you can clearly see they are rich people. And
well, that's the same thing that's going on here with the Hispanics. They come
yeah,
across the border. They've never paid into Social Security, and they automatically get it. You
yeah,
know, we pay into it for 40 years, and then we don't qualify because some little rule says, oh, you missed a payment, in 2003 or something. So sorry. And we're having to, our schools are filled with illegal aliens, and you're not even, they changed it's like in 1984, you can't call them illegal aliens anymore. You have to use the term migrant. Oh, well, that's great. That they're murdering people all over the place, all over. I could send you. Look, I'm not against anybody, but uh, good Lord, no country can survive with its borders unprotected.
yeah. And here in Germany, it's even crazier. The only party that wants to change that, it's called Alternative for Germany, AfD, and
I know them.
they and the government
And they get
is
painted as terrible right wingers
yes,
for
yes,
speaking the simple truth.
and the government is organizing every weekend. They are organizing demonstrations against the right wing and against the AfD. And
And that's what you're saying, that they're painting themselves as anti-fascists when they're really the fascists who are cracking
yes,
down on free
the
speech.
fascists who
You
want
can
to
point.
who demonstrate against a party that is not even in power,
They're
against the
afraid.
opposition. You can't demonstrate against the opposition. That doesn't make any sense. I've never heard
Look.
of that.
If you're cracking down on free speech, then you are a fascist. Okay. The other people are trying to say something and you don't want to hear it. That's not good.
Yeah,
You should
yeah,
listen. You should come together and talk about it.
and
You don't
and
silence your opponent, and you
and,
also don't use the legal system to go after your opponent,
yeah,
as we're seeing here.
and Greg, we have elections now in a few months. In 6 months, they are the first elections here in Germany, and so these AfD people are not even in power. They are the opposition, and so the demonstrating people. I would like to ask them what they want. Do they demonstrate that people don't vote next time for the AfD? So they want to bring people not to vote for that what they want to vote for. This doesn't make any sense. You don't go on the street demonstrating against.
Well, you do if you want to intimidate. They're trying to intimidate the opposition voter.
Yeah,
That's the whole point. That's why they do these riots here in America. That was the point, was to intimidate people trying to vote a different way that they don't like.
yeah, yeah. It's so.
And that's the exact same thing that happened in the 30s in a centrally located European country, if you
Yeah,
remember the brown
yeah.
shirt.
Yes,
And also, if you want to look back to American history, the Lincoln, he had people called the Trees, Abraham Lincoln, and they would go around and intimidate voters in in America before the election that led to our Civil War. People don't
Yes.
know about stuff like that. But let me tell you something else about Lincoln real quick. You know about like Andersonville, where all the Yankee prisoners were dying, right? And so it's supposed to be this big war crime, which it was. But if you look at the Ukraine Russian war, they're exchanging prisoners, right? Well, that was the custom at the beginning of the Civil War, and no one thought you had to have these giant prisoner of war camps. It was Lincoln who decided he didn't want to exchange prisoners anymore because he thought the Southern prisoners were going back and they were worth one Southerner was worth 10 Yankees, and so he didn't want to do that anymore, and that's why Andersonville. That's why all those Yankee prisoners starved. Also, the Yankees came south and they tore up all the railroads that were taking food to the frickin' Andersonville. That doesn't get any kind of. What I'm saying is the history books are written by people who don't want you to look at what the actual history was.
Yes, and if you want to, first off, the people who are now in power, I say that even in my last video, they are socialists. This is a socialist party that is now in power in Germany. And Adolf Hitler was part of this party before he went to the other party, the National Socialists. But before he was a National Socialist, he was in this socialist party. It's called SPD, Sozialistische Partei Deutschlands. So these people weren't. This is not a right-wing thing. These are lefties.
No, Adolf Hitler had universal health care and many things. He controlled what Germans ate, so you couldn't eat whatever you wanted. You had to go by the diet that hit who allowed, and yeah, it was all about control. And control is a mechanism of the left. They hate freedom, and well.
Yes, and you don't have to go back so long if you want to see what Socialist Party can do in Germany, because in the GDR, in the German Democratic Republic, if you can remember, there were
we called that East Germany.
Yeah, East Germany. There were also socialists in power, like we have now, and we have even people like Merkel. She was in this party. Our last chancellor was in this socialist party from the GDR, from East Germany. And these socialist communists, or what you want to call them, these are exactly the same things. They also went on the street making demonstrations and things like that, and using the same tactics with our demonstrants nowadays from the government, because these are all the people.
So you're saying they're using the same playbook that they used back then?
Yeah, use the same playbook, because these demonstrants on the streets, most of them, they don't want to be there. But the companies that they're working for are contracted with the government, and the companies just tell them, if you don't go on the street with your colleagues, then you get fired. So, and now tell me,
they have the same thing here in America. They use the unions to do that, and the unions will be like, they're always for the Democrats, and if you try to say anything against that, they find a way to fire you, and it won't be because you're politically against. What they'll do is they'll generate some kind of false thing against you, and then you're gone.
Yes, I know, because they all pretend that they stay for in law, that everything that they do is backed by the law, but in fact, it is. In fact, they are committing other crimes that don't go public. And they can pretend, oh no, he didn't lose his job because of his political opinion or something like that. It was
right. They know. Different. Right. They set you up, is what they call it.
Yes, they set you up, and this is just. It's crazy how 1984 becomes every day more and more true. and people are so blind that they can't see it.
Yeah, but it's okay, Cub. It's okay. We're gonna win, right?
I hope so. Yeah. Yes.
Hey,
So
it's all
Brett,
right.
I would.
Even one person living free is victory.
Yeah,
It's a
and
small victory, but it can be expanded. You know what I mean? I'm
yeah,
not a negative person. I'm optimistic. I think we can win this thing. Our enemies are stupid, and we will defeat them somehow.
yeah.
Hey, we're supposed to be doing an entertainment stream. I'm going to have to get us back on track in a little bit. Do you have anything else to say to sum up this? I
Yes.
guess political segment.
I just want to mention the last review here, Capricorn 1,
Oh
which
yeah, that was
which got
good.
which got from YouTube a special treatment,
Oh no, what happened?
pretending that nobody is watching it. It's the lowest watched video on all of my channels, on all of my
Oh
5
wow,
channels. It's the lowest
well,
watched,
that's kind of an honor.
the English version, and it was the first premiere that ended with 0 views.
Oh wow,
0 views, even if I was talking to people in the chat.
but I watched it.
Yes, I know. But when it ended, it had 0 views, and then after hours, there was a few views, and the English one is still at 12 views or something like that. It has 5 thumbs up or 6 thumbs up, but just 12 views or something like that. It's ridiculous. They're so unbelievable that they try to make it out as nobody is watching this one for some reason.
You know, it's weird. Usually, you get maybe 10% that have a thumbs up out of your deal. I've had videos that had more thumbs up than I had views.
Yeah, this is
You know,
crazy.
the views will shoot up like to 1,000 and then drop back down, and a drop. But the thumbs up will still be there from when I had 1,000 views, right? So that's
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know what happens to them, but you know, it's usually if I'm a little more political or something, or I say something I shouldn't. I usually don't do that because you know, I'm more of a libertarian, not really Democrat or Republican, although I do vote for them sometimes. But
Yeah,
my philosophy is more libertarian. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but
for me, it's just important that the video is online, and I don't care what YouTube says. I don't care if it says that nobody has ever watched it or something like that. I don't care. I'm just happy that it's
Movie
online.
Massacre says, "Hey guys, jumping on to show some support. We're on vacation, driving Highway 101. Have a great stream." Okay, good to see you, MM.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What were you saying? Oh, you were happy that your video's up. I agree. It's a form of free speech. It's a form of art. What we do is actually art, and it is an important free speech thing. You know, I was thinking recently these streams that people do on YouTube, they're something different. It's an art form. The balance of the different people and the different views and the political speech that's allowed is amazing. We're talking politics from Germany to Texas, and we're able to freely communicate and understand each other and see what they're trying to do to us. It's just it's awesome in its own way.
Yeah, I told you that they again deleted one of our streams here on Cub's Corner. Again.
When?
Yeah, one of the last ones they deleted it. But
well, they'll probably get this one. They're not going to like what we said today.
Yeah, but who cares? They will never get us shut down, or shut up, or something like that. And so let's quick go into the entertainment section.
Yes, back to entertainment. We're sorry we got distracted. That happened.
Yeah, and let's talk about something absolutely not political, like the beekeeper.
Oh my God, you want to go to that? Awesome.
Because it's so not political at all.
That's true. Okay, this is the next subject is the beekeeper. This is a Jason Stratham vehicle, and it's pretty well, it's pretty bad, but it's pretty good. And now, why do I say that? Well, choppy editing, bad audio. Um, it just jumped from one thing to another without making a lot of sense. But I also call this one the Hunter Biden story.
Yes,
Why do I
exactly.
right? This what makes me happy. This never happens. You never have. It's always Republicans who are the bad guys. This is clearly a Democrat. This is clearly Hunter Biden. He's doing cocaine in the White House. In the White, he's
Yeah.
doing lines on the president's death. Hey, lemon pie! Oh my God, lemon is here.
Yes. Yeah, nice. This time we have many nice people listening to us for some
Yeah,
reason.
lemon's a friend from some of our other streams. I
Oh, that's,
actually
that's
never
great.
stream over there. I'm always in the chat. But I did tell him that if he wanted to hear me, he could actually come to this, the only place I actually stream.
Yeah,
Okay.
he can also join if he likes to, if he has
Yeah, you can come on the panel if you want. If we appreciate it if you actually watch what we're going to talk about. But
yeah.
sometimes we talk about stuff and you don't have to watch. It might be political stuff in Germany, and maybe you're an expert on that. I'm not, but I'm slowly getting there. Anyway, back to our movie. This is I'm going to recommend this movie because okay, so what happens in this movie? You've got beekeepers, and these are basically like super agents who are able to slaughter teams of FBI or CIA or I don't know who the hell these people are. But basically, it's the Biden security force. Biden uses uh, in this movie, the president isn't Biden, but it's a female version of Biden, clearly. And Hunter Biden is her son, and they use this. It's really something that should be more widely known is how all these old people keep getting scammed out of their money. So that was a good thing to let people know about. And this woman who the beekeeper like does her yard work, and he's really this super secret agent or whatever who's above the law, who is even able to act when the president himself has become corrupt. And oh my God, I wish we had people like this. I hope we do.
Yeah,
But
but we have already people like this. They're called John Wick 124.
you think? Let's see.
Yes, it's the same story. It's the secret organization with their own world, own rules that they call themselves beekeeper
No,
and also
but John Wick
have the
isn't
bee talk the whole time.
okay. So no, but John Wick, that's about money. That's about international. This is about America and somebody trying to keep the the system when it breaks down and is taken over by corrupt people, trying to do the right thing and cut your way to the heart of the matter and eliminate it. I don't think that's John Wick. John Wick is
Yeah,
all about John
John
Wick
Wick
is about
is
profit. It's about international this and that. That's not. This is America, and these are Americans who are fucking up. And this is a system of one man. It sounds crazy, but that's the crazy kind of thing Americans would do. Okay, we'll have
John.
like these one.
Look, direct. John Wick is a secret contract killer for
Okay,
for the for
profit.
the for the mafia or something like
All
that.
driven.
Oh,
No, but John Wick is all about profit. It doesn't matter your political views. He wouldn't care that you're in the right on this. If somebody paid John Wick, he would kill you. The beekeeper would not do that. The beekeeper there's no profit involved. He's not making any money. He's supposedly doing this for
no,
altruistic.
Greg, the beekeeper is much stupider than John Wick because the
Yes,
beekeeper
stupider. I
just
told you
kills.
it's an American
No,
thing.
because the beekeeper is like John Wick. He is a contract killer who if he gets told to kill somebody, he's going to kill him. So the guy who tells him who to kill, he
Okay,
can be corrupt or
I
not.
think you're wrong. I think you're wrong on that. The way I understood the beekeeper concept was there wasn't anybody above him to tell him. The way I understood them to say it is he decided on his own. There's no way to shut him down.
Yeah,
There's nobody above him.
This is
You
just
said-
another. This is another description of Secret Service, like CIA or FBI.
No,
or
those people.
these people, they are above the law. They can do whatever they want. They can
that's
kill
very true.
whoever they want. And this is exactly the same thing like the
But they all
beekeeper.
take orders. The beekeepers do not take orders from anybody. They have their own definition, and they
take
don't have.
orders
They don't
from
have.
their queen. They take orders from the bee queen. The beehive takes orders from the bee queen.
I did not see that in the movie. I'm going by what I saw in the movie.
No, but
I didn't see the queen.
No, the queen was the one that was in charge of the beekeeper.
But this beekeeper wasn't listening.
No, this beekeeper said there has to be a change in the structure, in the top or whatever.
Right, and what I'm saying is that's a very American concept. It's like, okay, I'm one guy, and the president is evil, and his son is evil, and all my people above. But you know what? I'm going to go to the White House, and I'm going to kill them all. That's America. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, but John Wick has also the motivation. He wants to change.
He's not a quintessential American, though. I couldn't make that argument.
Yeah. But,
hey, if you want to have a Yankee on, he'll agree with you. But a Texan's gonna throw his own 2 cents worth.
Yeah, but for me,
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and Cub could be totally right. It's just how I saw it.
For me, the beekeeper is a mixture of John Wick. It's a variation of it. It's a variation of it.
A variation of John Wick. I will give you that.
Yeah, but anyway, even John Wick is for me just a copy or a variation of the only real one about a contract killer, which is Leon, The Professional.
Oh, The Professional was a good movie. We should be talking about that. Why aren't we talking about The Professional?
Yeah, because The Professional has it all. You don't really know if The Professional is killing just for the mob, or if he's killing people because of their politics, things like that. Of if politics are involved, you don't really get that to know. But in the end, the mob has to obey the rules of the politicians with this police officer who was after the contract killer. And
what was the old Hitman movie with James Colburn? Do you remember that one? I can't think of the name. Oh well, go ahead.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, all these John Wick or these also Mr. Nobody or here this one, the beekeeper, they're all just variations of Nikita and The Professional. These are
okay, but Mr. Nobody was pretty good. This movie really went after the Democrats and Biden, which you never ever see that. The reason why I can't. Can you remember any other movie? They all go after Republicans. I can't remember any movie in a history that went after. This is clearly after Democrats and the Biden corruption. That's crazy. You never see that.
Yes, I know. It's so crazy. It's like you see a movie with Germans in it who are not the bad guys.
I know. Well, that's why when I was watching something like Zeppelin, and they were trying to end the war early, in World War I early, would it have been so bad if the Germans had won that freaking war early, and the Russia wouldn't have collapsed into the Soviet Union, and we wouldn't have had all these nuclear weapons? And you know what? I was kind of rooting for those Germans on that Zeppelin to win. You know what I mean? And even though they were the bad guys, I remember as a kid, I watched that movie and I watched Doc's Boat, and you gotta root for them even though they're not on your side, or something like what was the one Peckinpah did, Cross of Iron, a great anti-war movie, and you get to see the war from the other side, from the enemy's perspective, and they're not like these horrible people; they're just people.
Yes, and nothing new on the Western Front. Don't forget that. One
Nothing
of
new on the Western Front.
yeah,
I
one of
had
the
forgotten that one. You
greatest
mean All Quiet on the Western Front?
yes,
I
because
do
here in
like
Germany,
your movie. Nothing new on the Western Front.
yeah, All Quiet. I mean, of course, All Quiet, because here in Germany it's called Nothing New on the Western Front.
Oh, okay. So
Nichts
that's the
Neues im
German
Westen.
title.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that
German
makes sense.
title, and so of course it means no news from the Western Front, if you want to say it like that. That's what they mean with new, and
of course, the death of a single soldier wouldn't be news, would it?
no,
They're all tragedies. I think that Ukraine war going on, I think it's like a horror movie. These drones coming down on people on both sides. To me, it's a horror thing. I look at these videos and it makes me a little sick.
yeah, it's these are really heavy times we are living in, because we have many wars in this moment going on. We have the one in the Ukraine. We have, of course, the one in Palestine, the genocide.
Yeah.
And on the news, you don't get. It depends where you live. You don't even get the news about that. Here in Germany, for example, you don't get any news from Gaza or Palestine at all. We only get the side of the occupiers. We never ever get the side of the Palestinians, and for the Ukraine goes the same. We always just get the Ukrainian side, but we don't get any pictures from the war in the Ukraine. I asked even a Polish guy here if he can tell me something about this Ukrainian war, and he told me that he tried to search for it in the internet, but he just found fake videos and things like that, and he gave up on it. And this guy comes from Poland, so he's really.
Well, there's a lot of stuff of people being killed with these drones. These drones are a terror for the future.
Yes, but what I want to say is the biggest problem we have nowadays is that we don't get appropriate news.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's a real problem, because people are so uninformed. They have no clue what is going on because of that.
Well, the news, have become so politicized that they only show, what they want to show if that agrees with their political opinion.
Yeah, and this is not called news. This is called propaganda. This is what you call
or
propaganda.
political opinion,
Yeah.
which could be classified as propaganda.
Yeah, it's propaganda. You just get from every side. You only get propaganda. There are no news anymore, and this is just frustrating.
Well, it is. It is. We're supposed to be on our entertainment segment, but I mean, the nature of the beekeeper is political. Ah.
Yes, that's why I chose that one. Okay, so
okay.
I like the movie, by the way, also because, as you said, it portrays the Hunter Biden story, and this is for me also. I was so surprised when I watched it with my friend, and we were both completely surprised about that, because the movie itself is not that good. It's really just a shallow John Wick copy, but it has a super interesting story.
Yeah,
is really
it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree on that. So for me, it gets a recommendation because of the story, not because of the movie.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a decent Jason Statham, action movie. So I got nothing against it, but it has an interesting story that's never being told. So yeah, I'm going to recommend it. I think you should watch it. And yeah, it's a good movie in its own way for the
Yeah.
reasons we have outlined.
Yes.
Okay, so the how far are we in? And we haven't got to the main deal. Okay, so we're about an hour in. Madam Web. Madam Web may be the greatest. No, it's terrible. It's one of the worst freaking things I've ever even imagined watching. It's kind of a combination of Final Destination and I don't know, and a bowl of crap.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it's horrible on so many levels. It's
Yeah,
not just
let's go over
horrible
them.
because of the boring story or because of the god awful adaptation of a comic book. It has zero nothing to do with the comic book at all, and but it's also so incompetent made. How it's shot, how it's edited, how it's scored, the
Yeah,
soundtrack is
the editing was
horrible.
maybe the worst edited movie ever.
Yeah, yeah,
It's that bad.
it's that bad, and also the advertising was so misleading because all the superhero stuff you see it in the trailer.
Yeah,
These
because it's only one like 1 minute clip that is being dreamed or whatever by the bad guy.
yeah, vision. It's yeah, it's
Right. So
dream or
you
vision.
don't get to see these girls in their outfits. They take grown women, who are like in their mid 20s, and they try to make them act as teenage girls, and they
Yeah,
dress them very frumpily. Um, they just they betray their any chance. What it is, they're afraid of the male gaze. So they take these beautiful women and they put them like in potato sacks and put
yes,
glasses on them. Right?
yes, yes. It was so crazy. So you have 4 women who look all exactly the same age, all 4 of them, but one of them is supposed to be older, and 3 of them are supposed to be teenagers, and you don't believe it for a second. You think,
No.
okay,
And they're supposed to be these snarky teenagers, right? So
yeah,
unlikable. They're written unlikable. Ah,
yeah, unlikable, and
and
I
she's a paramedic. The Madam Web girl, she's a paramedic. And this Dakota Johnson, she was from 50 Shades of Grey, and she was just as terrible in those movies. But she is a awful actress. She's a daughter of like Don Johnson from Miami Vice and the other actress. So she's basically given these roles out of nepotism, and she is one of the worst actresses I've ever seen in my life. Would you agree with that?
yes, she's not a good actress, and also she has
And
has
she
no
looks like
clue.
a boy. She
She
has
she
no female attribute.
she has also no clue in which movies she was. She didn't know anything about Spider-Man or Madame Web or whatsoever.
She
So
didn't even watch her own movie.
yeah, she didn't even watch her own movie. Yes, yeah, but but that I can understand. If you have seen the movie, you can understand why you wouldn't watch it or not.
No, I can't understand. You got to do a press tour. You need to at least watch your movie. I'm sorry. I can't understand that. But it does, when the Marvels came out, they said, oh, it would have done so much better if our actresses had been able to promote it. Well, here's what happens when you get these actresses and you try to promote these movies, right?
Yeah, yeah, and also the movie plays out in 2003, and I'm just baffled that no other reviewer uh, comes to the conclusion why this is. Greg, do you know why it plays out 2003?
Well, the way I saw it was they were going to use this as a precursor, so they would age the girls would suddenly become women in their 30s, which they already were, because they're going to have to jump ahead to current time.
No, Greg, the reason It's so simple. When I tell you the reason, then you say, oh my God, it's so simple. 2003, Spider-Man is born in this movie. The woman that is pregnant, she gives birth to Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So Peter Parker is going to be 16 when? 2018, around or 2019. And that's the time from our young Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, where he's a teenager. Or not.
Yeah, that lines up.
Yes, and that's the reason. That's it. And everybody is making a fuss about that, saying, "Oh, I have no clue why it's 2003, or maybe they want to do this or that." And I thought, "Are you all stupid or crazy, blind, or what's up with you?" Of course, they try to go after the Tom Holland Spider-Man to be a prequel to that, and that's why she's pregnant and gives birth to our Tom Holland Spider-Man. That fits with the age.
They did such a bad job on the writing on this movie.
Yeah,
I can't really.
it was just terrible. And
I
also
mean, the lines, and she's a paramedic. I was a paramedic, Cub. I'm taking personal offense at her as a paramedic in this movie. How about that?
yeah, but I thought all paramedics hate people and can't stand them and can't stand to help them, like I saw in the movie.
Yeah, I know. It's in this, and she's so bad at her job. Ah, she's really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Ah,
and also at the end, how she gets blinded and has to and ends up in the wheelchair.
did you
What is
see the yeah, and the bad guy is killed off by a Pepsi sign. Have you ever seen
yeah.
such product placement? There's Pepsis everywhere, and she'll like hold the Pepsi up, but she doesn't open it or drink it. And then this iconic Pepsi sign falls on the guy who has Spider-Man powers. Spider-Man is ultra strong. He should be able to just throw that thing to the side.
Yes.
And how come he falls and lands on his back and can't? What the hell? Why can't he spin in midair like Spider-Man? How does this make any sense? None of it makes any sense. Ah,
Yeah, and also how she captures him is stupid as fuck, because she's constantly looking over to the sign that is going to fall off.
yeah.
She was constantly looking, and I thought, is this a joke? Is this a satire? Because Spider-Man has to be blind that he didn't get that. She was constantly going a little bit backwards and then looking to the sign for the audience, and then looking back, and I thought, what's that?
They have to be very overt.
Yeah, the thing is, you could really see that this directress, this female director, she isn't ready for the big screen. You could see that clearly. This was her debut for the big screen, but she had already made this pilot that wasn't never aired here for the Game
Well,
of
they're
Thrones
not. You're
show.
right. They're not doing these female directors any favors by forcing them to giving them projects they're not ready for.
Yeah, and she was clearly not ready for, because this Game of Thrones thing that she made before that, this was the unaired pilot from Bloodstone, here, $30 million that they shelved directly after it was finished. It was so bad that it was unreleasable. So they threw away $30 million and then gave her the next property with the 80 million here with Madame Web or whatever. And that's, for me, that they're just baffling decisions. I don't understand. How can you? It doesn't make any sense from a financial standpoint, or not.
No, I agree. It doesn't.
Yeah, and we thought only Disney is burning money, but it seems like Sony is even worse with that. They're also just throwing it out of the window.
Well, the excuse is this was all from a few years ago, and they got to clear this out because apparently they were swept up by the Me Too thing and all the rest, and they decided that good movies were no longer acceptable or something. I don't know.
and, and
You get
and
these
didn't
ridiculous excuses.
And didn't you miss one of the flops that didn't even came out? That was announced before Madam Web? The Craven one, where we already saw a trailer?
Yeah, which one was that?
Craven the
Oh,
Hunter,
yeah, that's
where we
right.
saw this god-awful trailer, which had nothing to do with Craven. And now
So what happened with that? Is it not coming out? I haven't heard anything.
I think it comes out in August, but I'm not
Oh my
sure.
God.
I'm
What's
not
the
sure about
director?
it. I have no idea. I looked it up back then.
If you finish this, just let me know you're done. Otherwise,
Huh?
I'll remind you in an hour.
What's that?
What's that? Is that your
Greg,
Alexa?
here is your reminder. Take my insulin.
Alexa, stop. Sorry about that.
Oh my God. Hey, you went to the dark side.
You didn't know I had Alexa?
No. I'm preparing on a review about AI, and I even mentioning Alexa, Siri, and so on.
Oh, she's always here.
Oh no.
She is especially interested in you.
Oh no. Yes, because I'm like in the South Park episode. I'm the last guy who hasn't an Alexa.
That's right.
And now she wants to convince you that you should give your friend as a present also an Alexa or something like that.
Yeah. You know, I have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, Cat Claw says Greg told me to get Alexa with a smiley face. See? Do you
Yes.
see?
Yes, I see. And Kat, she has an invitation as usual.
Yes, she has an invitation as
When-
usual. She
Yeah.
always improves the conversation
Yeah. She can jump in
because
whenever she wants.
she's very helpful.
Yeah, and so I would say, Madam Web, what do you think? Is Sony's separate cinematic universe whatsoever? Is it dead now, or is it dead, Jim? Or what do you think?
It's in bad shape. I don't think they're going to make another one of these for a while. Certainly not like this.
No, they already
You know,
did. They made Craven. It's ready. It's ready to go. The next flop.
I know, but I mean,
bigger
really make one after this. So this is where they get the wake up call, and now we see if they're going to respond. Marvel is clearly, trying to respond, but they're so eat up with their ideology. I don't think they're able to respond. I think Sony they don't have the massive pockets of say Disney, and I think they're going to have to pivot to movies that people want to go see. They marketed this Madam Web thing. They marketed 75% of the marketing to young girls, and young girls don't want to see this stuff.
Greg, you mean they don't have the massive pockets like Disney, the pockets from BlackRock? That's
exactly right. BlackRock.
Disney has also not the deep pockets anymore. The Disney money is gone. This is just the decisions of BlackRock and Vanguard and so on. They are putting this woke shit everywhere.
That's exactly true.
Yeah, because they don't care for money, or that they make money back or something.
They have like 60 or 80 trillion dollars. So losing $1 billion is nothing to them. That's like Cub losing a quarter.
Yeah, and it's for them more important to getting out the message, which
because they're eat up with their ideology. Ideology is everything. They've been they've been exposed to this propaganda, and that's all they care about. They're mindless automatons, basically.
Yes, and what we are now facing is the war, rich against poor, and with rich I mean these big companies, BlackRock and so on. And it's the war that we have every war. It's not about religion. It's not about countries or whatever. It's always the rich against the poor. That's a war that is going on forever. And this is just the next one, or the actual one. with these super huge companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, and so on, who own everything. For them, it's not
That's true.
important
But
to
you know
earn
what?
more money.
That we gave them a bloody nose, Cub. We gave them a bloody nose.
I know in Texas you gave them a bloody nose. Texas is one of the states where they say this involvement of BlackRock and so on. We don't want that here, and this is why I really like Texas for their politics. This is a really good decision for the people. I really would like to see that also in other countries, that they open their
We're calling
eyes.
them out. We're calling them out, and they're. You know what they don't like? They've always done this from the shadows, Cub. There is now spotlight on them, and I think it's going to make a difference. It's taken a little time, but I'm an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I think we're going to win.
Yes, when more countries act like Texas, then it looks good for us. And
Well, we're trying. We kick you on the butt every now and then, but you don't really listen to us. You got to come to the. You got to come to it on your own. People can't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So you've got to come to this on your own. You've got to decide. Hey, AF whatever alternative for Germany isn't a bunch of crazy right wing people. They're just normal people who are maybe worried about
yeah, but
various.
Greg, in Texas you have horses. We have here just sheep. We have to lead the sheep to the water.
Yeah. Hey, a sheep will bite your butt. A German sheep who's properly pissed off, he can bite you, right? I have confidence in the Germans. We've got a lot of Germans here in Texas, as I've told you before. So it's a big influence in Texas. Look,
Yeah,
Cat Claw says, I thought Germany had horses. Aw.
No, they're all sheep. Yeah, no,
They're
horses.
all sheep. They're very furry horses,
Yeah, we have here sheep or wolf. This is the thing that we have here, and of course we have both combined with the lone wolf cub. That's the combination of it. That somebody comes as a sheep, but is in fact just the furry of the sheep.
Hey, what happens if you give a werewolf a silver dollar? You're worried now.
Time to find out.
Yeah, right. Uh-oh, another message from Kat. She said, what happened to the horses, Cub? What happened?
I have no idea. Maybe they're in Austria. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good reference to the what were the horses that Patton saved from Austria? God, I can't remember. Limpas and Stallions. You know what I'm talking about?
No, of course not.
Anyway, there were some famous German or Austrian dancing horses, and the Americans, I think, under Patton, snarkled them away from the Soviets.
Oh, very cool.
So I can confirm that Germany did have some horses, some very famous horses. There was even a movie about it, which was cool. It was a World War II movie where you're trying to save the German horses from the evil Soviets. I thought it was fun. It's been 40 years since I've seen it. Look, there we go.
I would say what's next? What's next on the list? Because Madam Web, I think
we're finished with Madam Web. It was so bad. We could talk about that a while, but okay. Mr. Monk's last case. Yes, I saw this. And I'm a big Monk fan. I've seen all of the episodes of all the years. Yeah, how about you, Cub? Have you ever seen Mr. Monk?
Yeah, of course. I've seen all episodes in German back then, and I've seen few of them even in English. And I'm a big fan. I never missed an episode. I even rewatched them here with my mom.
Oh, wow. What did she think of them?
She's not a big fan of Monk, but she doesn't mind it.
Oh, well, fair enough. That sounds about like whenever I tried to get my mom to watch something,
Yeah, but Monk is really a special case. you like it or you hate it. There's really nothing in between there. It's the style of Monk. If you can, if you understand how this humor works, then it's really a great show. But for other people, it looks maybe boring or nonsensical or something like that.
Yeah, but we're Monk fans. Do you remember the episode where he coached the high school girls team?
Yes, of course. I remember
And
every
and, and of course, every time he's for a sports team, they always lose.
episode.
Hey, I'm Oiler Greg. We
The
never
thing,
made the Super Bowl,
uh,
but we would come so close and we would lose in these spectacular fashions. Do you remember the end of the episode where they had seemingly won and there was no way they could possibly lose? And Monk had that look on his face like he knew what was going to happen. And sure enough, at the last tenth of a second, you know, they lost.
yeah, the thing with this Monk the movie
I'm just saying, I understand that feeling. Go ahead.
is it is a Monk episode. It's really a Monk episode. This movie, a, a, a long one, a double episode, which is the first time. Normally, the Monk episodes only go.
But this had some heart to it, which they all do. But this was dealing with, he was thinking about offing himself.
Yeah, and I really liked every aspect of it besides of the woke shit, which was just it was just a little bit. And with what I mean with woke shit, I mean this um, uh, pandemic where they
Oh
were.
yeah, well they had to address that because Monk is
Yeah,
the big hypochondriac, I guess it'd be
yeah,
fair to say.
yeah, but they
So
kept it
how would
really
he deal
brief.
if you're gonna tell Monk that you're in a pandemic? He's gonna freak out. So I didn't see that as woke. I saw that as okay. It's Monk, and now everybody's well, they're wiping their hands. They're doing the minimum. There's nobody in mask. We didn't see that. We did see
Yeah,
people using a little hand sanitizer. I liked how Monk brought his own hand sanitizer with him, his own
yeah,
little station,
this I
and
liked. This was a really cool joke with the
that
hand
was funny,
sanitizer. Yeah, that was good.
right?
But
That's
as I
what
said,
Monk would do.
it was just such a small bit that I didn't mind it at all. I thought, yeah, it's okay. Uh, m-
It didn't make you angry.
yeah,
Now remember, most things make Cub angry.
no,
He's
but this,
like the Incredible Hulk. Have you ever watched an Incredible Hulk episode from the 70s? That's what it's like being around Cub.
yeah, and but this one I really liked this case. The only thing was it was too easy. The case I solved it after 5 minutes. I knew exactly. Yes, it's the rope, of course. They fudged with the thing that you what you call it, the centimeters and so on.
Yeah, that's what did him in. That's why he died, because he used freaking centimeters, the metric system, and he should have been using good old American inches. As
Yeah,
I've
sure.
right, as I've said how many times,
Yeah, and
the metric system caused his death, as Cub just told you.
yeah, but Greg, really,
Yeah, but
when you
another senseless metric system death. That's all I'm saying.
when you saw that, I think you all directly also thought, yeah, it has to be this.
Yeah, it had to do with how he measured it out.
Yeah, that was.
It had to be.
It
No,
had to
why
be.
else
Yeah,
would he break in? Right?
yeah, yeah, and
Now,
so
also on these bungee jumping, they usually don't jump to within a few feet of the bottom. Normally, they jump about 75% down, from what I remember. So
yeah.
I thought that was if you're jumping 300
Hey,
feet, why do you
Greg, you
have to
mean
jump?
Greg, you mean that was a little stretch?
Yeah, it was a stretch. Also the problem with these bungee cords, they stretch. So measuring the deal, that it doesn't jump straight down and then boom. If it didn't stretch when you reach the bottom of that line, it would break you in half. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
measuring it, you've got to multiply that by a factor. It's crazy. Why would you want to even do that when you've got like an enemy like obviously this is Elon Musk. Did we mention that Monk is trying to get Elon Musk? You
Yeah,
saw that, right, Cub?
yes, of course. And as I said, these are minor things. These woke things in it are minor things for me because, yeah, of course, Elon Musk or he would go after Donald Trump, so what? If they stay grounded and
True to the
solid,
character.
true to
Yeah,
the
I
character,
agree.
I'm cool with it. Okay,
I am too.
so of course there have to be leftists because everybody in entertainment is a leftist. Yeah, so what? But still, you can be a leftist and still stay true to the art. And with
Yeah,
Monk,
you can.
it's fascinating that he never betrayed his character.
No, he
And
didn't.
and
And
Tony
that's one
Sha-
thing about Kirk. Shatner never betrayed Kirk's character. And other
no,
people say, "Oh, he'll do anything for money," and maybe he would have back then. But I don't think Shatner will ever betray James T. Kirk.
no, I also don't think so. And with Tony Shalhoub, he is in my two favorite movies of all time. He is in Galaxy Quest, as you
Oh,
can
great
remember.
movie.
Yeah, and he's in Gattaca.
Oh, he is. You know, I
Yes.
completely forgot that.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's a supporting. He's only in supporting roles there, but he's in my two favorite movies of all time.
Hey, these supporting actors, what we used to call character actors, the lack of these good, solid supporting actors is one of the things that has brought Hollywood down, in
Yeah,
my
I know.
opinion.
I know.
You
Look,
know, you know everything. Every time I say something, you're like, "Yes, that's clear."
yeah,
You might know it, but everybody doesn't know it, Cub. So I've got to say it for the rest of them.
yeah, and if you just see how small his role is in Gattaca, it's really a very small one. He's the guy who prevents what they call it, Jacob's ladder. No, they have a name for it. Uh, um,
I've forgotten. It's been 10, 12 years since I saw that.
yeah, they call it something with ladder, something like that, the easy way or whatever. And he prevents that, and it's very very small. As I said, it's a small, but it's important to have also in these very small roles. And you have also another small role there from Ernest Borgnine. Can you remember?
I've forgotten it. What happens? I do like, but Borgnine. He's one of my
Borgnine
favorite actors.
Borgnine is the head of the troop that makes of the cleaning troop. When they go into Gattaca to clean it up,
Right?
the head
As
of
I
the
say, I've forgotten.
the head of the cleaners of the cleaning troop is Ernest Borgnine. It's also very super small role, but still the really impression less with the Tony Shalhoub character because he's just a better actor. And so if I tell people about Tony Shalhoub is in Gattaca, they directly remember which part he was playing. But for example, with Ernest Borgnine, even it's a more better known actor from name recognition. His part is kind of forgettable, but still okay. He fits the part.
Okay,
But
Cat Claw has a question about Borgnine.
uh,
Wasn't Borgnine and Shatner in a movie together called Devil's Reign? The
Yeah,
answer is
this.
yes.
Yeah, this is
That's where
but
you get the famous. It's from that movie that you get the Shatner mask that is used in Halloween. Did you know that, Cub?
no, I didn't know that.
So finally, I got something Cub didn't know. You always say yes, of course I knew. No, that's the Shatner mask is based on Shatner from Devil's Reign. That's why it
Oh,
looks so weird,
oh, okay, didn't
because
know that.
in the movie his face kind of melts or whatever, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
Because
maybe I can't remember because I haven't seen it.
well, okay, you can't. You got to watch this movie, Cub. It was okay. Borgnine plays this satanic master, and Shatner is one of the early victims. Even though it seems like he's going to be the hero of the movie, it ends up being I forget some other guy from that time period. Um, at any rate, they as the backstory on this, which I think you'll find interesting, they brought in one of the actual satanic masters. I forget his name as well because it's a long time ago. But yeah, this is a very significant movie that Kat has mentioned,
Yeah,
and
I've
she
heard
said
about
on
it.
top.
I saw a review on it and heard. That's why it ringed a bell when I heard the name. But I have never actually seen it myself. I just saw a
You're
review.
gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to talk about it. Cat Claw says it was financed by the mafia. Anton Levy is in it too, and yeah, it's a very different side of the actor that we see here. You got the good old boy from McHale's Navy. Did you ever watch any of McHale's Navy? You know, he's a PT boat captain, and he runs around. It's Ernest Borgnine, but that's kind of what I grew up with, is seeing him like that. And then you'd see him in these movies like I'm sure you saw Marty, right?
Yes, of course, and I saw the Dirty Dozen where he's also
Yes,
in. Don't forget that, and also
the
here
Wild Bunch.
the Wild Bunch, and also this other classic on the train, the Robert
Annie
Aldrich
Calder.
classic. Here, the one on the train, where he and what's the he was the train keeper, and
Oh my God, yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I know
yeah,
what
they
you mean.
uh, uh,
Emperor of the North.
yeah, I think Eric
Emperor
Roberts,
of the North. That's
yeah,
what that one is. That's
yeah,
about the 1930s train. Did you know my grandfather was a one of those people on the train?
yeah, really.
Yes, during that time,
Hey,
and,
maybe
and
Eric.
he had six girls and a boy during the Depression.
Hey, maybe Ernest Borgnine's character is based on your grandfather.
It could be because one of the he was very peaceful and stuff, but he kept a bucket of acid around. And I asked him about it, and he said, "Well, you know, I might need it."
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's Texas, Cub. So the most peaceful person you ever met with a big family, he also has a bucket of acid, and if you mess with him, you know, he never said, you know, I was like, okay, okay, Papa, I got it. He had that look in his eye. But yeah, that was a great movie. But yeah, Ernest Bergman. I guess we got off on a tangent. But you've got to watch Devil's Reign. I can't believe you've never seen that movie. Cat is
No, but
right.
at least I have heard of it.
Well, at least you heard of it. That's true. I
Yeah.
guess we'll give you like 1 point.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, I got distracted there.
yeah, so going back to the Monk movie,
Yes, let's go
uh,
back.
it gets definitely a recommendation. It's really for Monk fans, it's really good. It's really
Yeah,
good. And even if the case is for my taste, it was a little bit too weak. They should have taken for the movie really a slightly harder case. It was just too easy to solve. That's the only thing that I think is a little bit underwhelming. But the whole movie itself is just great. It's just for it's like a Monk episode. Exactly. You can watch it directly after the series. You don't see any difference.
Okay, I've got a chat. Okay, so Orloff says bucket of acid. He should have just stored a gun. Why a bucket of acid? Okay, do you want to know the answer to that, Cub?
Yes.
Because this was a depression, and a gun was expensive, and bullets were expensive, but he could get the acid from where he worked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
So it
makes
didn't
sense.
cost anything, and everything was about cost to him. You know, anybody who lived through that time period and had 7 kids was going to be just broke all the time. And there's something my dad told me. Of course, he fought in Korea. So in the 40s, he drove a motorcycle and had interesting experiences, let's say. He said that they couldn't afford guns. So what they did, have you ever heard of zip guns?
No.
Okay, a zip gun, you take a piece of pipe and a rubber band and a nail and a bullet, and you can fashion yourself a gun that'll blow up in your hand about, I don't know, 20% of the time. 80% of the time, that bullet will go down range. You got to use a small caliber, like a 22. But
No.
in other words, it's just a piece of pipe with a bullet stuck in it, and a piece of wood, and a nail, and a rubber band, and
Okay.
that's what they used in street fights in the 40s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah,
But
you can fashion a gun. The problem is that thing will blow up and hurt you about 1 out of 5 times.
yeah, and I can tell you something that is really depressing. We're talking about the depression. Depressing
Sorry.
is the fact that when you talk about your ancestors, they would always have the hope that their children are getting a better place to live in than they are living in, and most of the time this worked out. The next generation would have it a little bit easier, and this goes on to the 80s, but then now in the 2000s we don't have that anymore. Now the next generation is going to have less than the generation before.
Oh, we've saddled them with $33 trillion in debt for one thing.
Yeah, but
that's why we're not going to be able to keep supporting Israel forever. We're not going to be able to keep doing any of this stuff forever, and we don't get along here anymore. These other people, they're trying to take our freedoms like yours are being taken, and we're not going to put up with it. Eventually, we're going to break free. I'm sorry, but we are.
Yes, and the thing
this is Texas, the only state that used to be a nation. We fought for our own independence. No other state did that. They were just lines on the map that got added to the whole. That's why Texas can fly its flag at the same height of the U.S. No other state can do that. I'm just saying, we've about had it. You look at what's going on our border, and we're angry. We're very angry.
Yeah, and we have here in Germany kind of the same situation with a state called Bavaria. But sadly, the Bavarians are ruled from traitors. It's not like in Texas, where your government seems to be on the side of the people, from the people, and fighting for Texas, for their country. In Bavaria, we don't have that. We have traitors there at the top, And so normally you would expect something like with Texas, you would expect that from Bavaria. Have you heard of that, Greg?
Oh, I was answering Orloff. He thinks I'm old for some reason. What was I? What were you saying about Bavarians?
Bavaria
They're being betrayed by their government, right?
yes, Bavaria is something like Texas. It's its own country or kingdom, or what you want to call it normally, and they normally would be could be independent from Germany, because, as I said, it's Bavaria.
Well, they were independent before the 1860s, right? When
Yes.
Germany became unified.
Yeah, they were independent, and there's still this spirit,
Independent spirit.
this independent spirit. But sadly, here in Germany, also thanks
That's not encouraged, is it?
to the occupation, it's not encouraged, and they are ruled by traitors, and so this Texas effect, I would really love to see that here. But as I said, it's sadly when your government and your rulers are traitors, then that doesn't work, of course.
So you remember after World War II, I'm sure one of your favorite times is when America occupied Germany, right?
Yeah.
And right, okay, the occupation went on there until I think 1948 or something, and of course we kept bases there afterwards. But did you know that after the Civil War, Texas was occupied for over a dozen years by the Yankees? Not 2 years or 3 years, a dozen. We were the last state to finally drive the Yankees off, you know.
Greg, we are still occupied. We are occupied.
We didn't even get to vote for our own governor or anything. They were appointed by the North.
Yes, but we are also not allowed to vote for our people.
Yeah, I know. I'm still occupied too. I'm just saying they openly occupied Texas for a dozen years after the war. Even though the rest of the South had been set free, they refused to let Texas be independent because they knew how we were.
Yeah. They were afraid of you, and
yeah, they were. That's a long time to occupy, one part of your country that supposedly, was involved in a rebellion. It was definitely a rebellion, but it was also something else.
Yes,
but I don't know. I bring up history, and I probably shouldn't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to bring up history, and I want to bring up your history, Greg. Your great return of Euler Greg in the Poltergeist review here one day after his birthday.
Right? Woohoo!
Yes.
Did they ban that yet?
No. Till now they didn't ban that, and I put in the same section which I put in here in the Shrinking Man review that got banned, as you know, or the Quiet Earth one, the same one as that got banned back then, and it's the same section, the same Corona section that I put in there, and it's from the Shrinking Man, and I'm really curious how long this stays on, because, as I said, it's exactly the same section. So let's see if it gets a pass, or if it stays on for a few months or whatever.
I hope it stays up forever.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's a kind of immortality, YouTube.
Yeah, and it's a very good Poltergeist review, or not?
It is.
I didn't try to get too much into the curse thing, and I kind of even when I start, it looks like that I don't believe in these curses and things like that, and it looks like that I don't give a crap about it. But during the review, I constantly mentioning the deaths.
Right.
Yeah, so so that people.
Yeah, the people involved with the movie who died,
Yeah, the thing is,
like the little girl.
I
You
I
know,
I
I didn't
wanted
even remember that she died so young. What did you say? She was 11 or 12?
12. She was 12, and the thing is, I made it this way, the review or retrospective on that, because I didn't want to that people come to the conclusion directly in the beginning. I just wanted to present them the facts that they can come to their own conclusion if it is a curse or if whatever. So I didn't directly wanted to tell them, yes, it's a curse and so many people died and this and that and so on. No, this is for me. This is for me like these falsifying
There was also a
thumbnails
curse on
or
the movie,
whatever.
like The Omen, they talked about.
Yeah, and the Omen one is one in the making for me. But I
Oh,
have to.
so are you going to address the curse or just leave that be?
I don't know because I prepared it, but there's a new Omen coming out in April or May, and it's also called the New Omen, and the review on it is not directly when it comes out. This time I want to take my time with it, and
Yeah, that sounds good. You ought to.
yeah, yeah, the Omen review comes in October. It's planned for October.
And people are well aware that I take my time with my video.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is,
I'm
why
still
should?
working on my Death Stalker review. I've been trying to do that forever.
Yes, I hope I get to see it in my lifetime.
I know. I know. Believe me, that's I've been focused on it.
Yeah, I'm actually, as I already told you, I was working on the Godzilla reviews.
Oh, those are
I
going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to the Godzilla review.
Yeah, and together with the King Kong ones, they
I
all
don't think
come.
anybody on YouTube does the kind of in-depth analysis you do. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about the American ones. The American ones get their own videos. There are how many? One, two,
Oh, you mean like
three.
Godzilla '98 and then these others?
Yes,
Yeah.
they get three reviews. The English ones, the American ones, and the Japanese ones get five reviews. But the Japanese ones, they get them next year because they are very complicated, and I have to take my time with those. I'm still preparing them. I haven't not even all of the videos I need. There's still a few missing. But as I said, I'm preparing them. But the American ones you get already this year in May. May is April and May is Ghostbusters and King Kong Godzilla time.
All right. Yeah,
Yes.
sounds good.
Yeah, and so I would say let's talk about the big one when it comes to the flops. Let's talk about Argyle. I would say.
Argyle. Yes.
Yeah, Argyle. Could you manage to see it?
Yes, I did. I
Yeah.
thought it
So
had a good cast. I thought it looked fun. I thought it was going to be a good movie, but it had some decent cinematography and shots, sets and stuff that looked good. It's just the writing and this. I think it was done in by the twist by making if they would have stuck to the original concept of making her, this writer who happened to write some stuff that drew the attention of the intelligence community. That's possible, but the fact that she was a former agent who was writing about this stuff and had been doing it for 5 years before they reacted is totally unbelievable to me.
Yeah, and also totally unbelievable that she is even a secret agent.
Yeah, because of her physical attributes.
Yeah, that was also completely unbelievable. And this was just horrible fan fiction. This was not a real story. This is what 12-year-olds come up with. It's
What was
really.
the deal with these cats? The cats in the marbles, the cats in this one. It seems like there's been cats in a lot of movies lately. Is it just me, or
Yeah, for no reason. They just put in these CGI cats, which look horrible.
I think they're
all
trying to
the
find
time.
things that women will like, and they're like, well, women like cats. Let's put cats in everything because these are movies that are directly focused at women, and I don't think they
Yes,
understand women.
yes, but the thing is, women don't like cats; they like men. So if you want to
Yeah,
get a woman into the cinema, you have to put on a shirtless man on the screen. And if you want to get a man into the cinema, you have to put on a shirtless woman on the screen. That's
you know,
that's the whole secret about filmmaking. And the same goes, by the way, with these kids movies where they think, oh, let's put some kids in there for the kids. No, when I was a kid, I never watched kids movies. I always wanted to watch the things for adults because that was
and
interesting.
when I was a kid and a Godzilla movie had these stupid little kids in there, I always hated them in the movie. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
think, oh, it's this false premise that you need to see somebody exactly like you in the movie to enjoy it. I did not want to see a little, boy in the freaking movie talking rah rah. No, I want to see a Godzilla movie without this distracting little kid. And that was me as a little kid would have told you that.
Hey, wait a
So I
second.
agree.
Maybe because it was a little Japanese boy and not a little American boy.
Right? I guarantee you sometimes they had a little American boy with a Japanese boy. You ever notice that? Sometimes they'd drop an American in there and that would
Yeah,
make it even worse.
yeah, even worse.
Hey, Orloff agrees with us. He hates kids in the movie, even today. Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
they're just horrible. And this Argyle movie, this was so hard to sit through because after a while, after the fifth new thing or whatever, what you call it, the fifth surprise, uh, you
Twist.
just gave twist. Yeah, you just gave up. I
Yeah,
just
there are
gave
too
up.
many twists. Do you
Yeah.
think if they'd played it straight without any twist, I think it would have been a better movie, don't you? Because she's not believable as a action star. She's not believable as a secret agent, but she is believable as this little writer. And you could have had her with her cat, and probably had some good adventures. You just made it like a fun movie instead of trying to
Yes,
be.
like James Bond did it from time to time when he
Yeah,
had to carry a woman with him that was not a secret agent, had any training or whatever, and here
and
uh,
yet they survived through luck and skill and help
yes,
and
yes,
whatever.
like in A View to a Kill, or like here in the one.
Exactly. And if they had done that, I think they would have had a good movie. That's what I was looking for. I thought that's where they were going, and they of course had to make her into this awesome spy. And
Yes,
it's not believable because of her body type and because of that's what ruined it. That's what I mean by I think they had a good concept originally, but the twist for me, the twist killed the movie.
yeah, they were too afraid to show a capable man that is constantly saving a woman.
Yeah.
Because that would be like a James Bond movie, and that would be
It was, and if you
successful.
had her and her cat, maybe the cat could have been fun if they'd found a way to work it in, but they couldn't have the cat be in there if she's this super agent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And as I said, in some James Bond movies, you have this situation. You have a
Yeah,
situation where James Bond he has to keep an eye on a woman that has no training and has sometimes a cat, a dog, or whatever, a parrot, and
right.
he has
Doesn't
to
matter.
keep everything safe. He has to keep them both safe. And this was very funny and very cleverly made back then, and very entertaining. But with this one, Argyle, whatever, it was just horrible, and also the scam, which
It's
which
their
which was
ideology that ruined the movie, is what we're saying. They had
yeah,
a good concept. They had a great cast. They had some beautiful cinematography at times and some great sets. But I can't recommend the movie at all. It's terrible.
yeah, and
Again,
and
their
and how
ideology destroyed the movie.
and how they worked Superman in here, Henry Cavill. That was
Yeah.
horrible. This constantly forward and backward and so on. That was so badly done. It was so annoying as hell. And
Yeah, the editing again, like
yeah,
Madam Web, the flash forwards, and I don't
yeah,
know. It's impossible to watch some of these without being very disappointed. I was just disappointed because they had the concept there. They had and the execution was just terrible.
yeah. And then you get this scam where the movie costs 100 million and he sold it to Apple for 200 million.
Oh
And
wow.
you just think this is all just a big scam. This whole thing is just a scam. It's not fun. There's no reason. I don't understand why they act this way. Because something like that you can do maybe one time, but after that your reputation is done or not.
Yeah, and these movies are bad. Madam Web and Argyle. I'm talking Polly Shore level bad.
Yeah, and for me this looks really more like a money laundering scam than
Yeah,
a real movie project. Because
yeah, I agree.
all these $200 million, $300 million movies whatsoever that look like shit with worse effects than 2001, that this is it's just
It's
impossible.
got to be money laundering. Look at something like Godzilla -1 that you can do for 13 million, and these other things are costing 100 million, 10 times that. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, and they look like TV movies. They look so bad that if especially the CGI is so
I
poorly
think you're
done.
right. I think money laundering is a big part of this. I don't think we're ever going
Yeah,
to get actual proof of that, but I think it's a big part of it.
yeah, but it doesn't matter if we get proof of that or not because they are shooting themselves in the foot because you can't do that forever. These movies where now every time when a new movie comes out or 100 million, 200 million, we are all suspecting it's shit
Yeah,
because
even like on Argyle, where I thought it might be a fun concept, in my heart, I knew they were going to screw it up.
yeah, it's really annoying to see that everybody is now and nobody is doing movies anymore. The normal movie that we could look forward to
I don't know.
is
There's
dead.
some of them, like that Suitable Flesh movie that I recommended, based on the Lovecraft story. I thought that was well done, but it's not like a big budget movie. You're right about the big budget movies are all crap, with occasional exceptions. But I'm looking at these independent films, these horror movies, and I'm planning on going to the horror convention again in August. Woohoo!
Oh, very cool. And
Yeah, my brother said he's covering me. So yay!
and the thing is also something like Deadpool 3. Normally, I would look forward to it. Not because I'm a huge Deadpool fan or whatever, and the second one was really awful, but still, just as a fun movie, something different, which has which is something independent from the normal comic book movie. I would normally look forward to that. But now they put themselves in such a way into a corner that this is the tentpole movie of them. Deadpool 3 is
That's all they got.
the savior
to
of
be.
Marvel. And Deadpool can't save Marvel because Deadpool is anti-comic book. It's a real anti-hero because it's supposed to be a joke. It's not supposed to be taken seriously.
Well, they already messed up Deadpool, putting him in She-Hulk.
Yeah, they already messed up the trailer, putting in this god-awful Loki crap into there here, the TBA or whatever. And it's just annoying. And also they messed up the title, Deadpool and Wolverine. Really? That's how you call your Deadpool movie? This is so cheap. It's so
They're getting desperate, though. That's the only release they got this year, isn't it? For Marvel?
Yes, and they could also just could call it, this is the movie with Deadpool and with Wolverine. And many cameos. They should write that also in the title. And even write the names of the cameos in the title, that they get sure that people show up. Because this is all what it is, from my point of view. When they make such a desperate move, something from outside, putting their faith into that, like Deadpool or with Guardians of the Galaxy, these are properties that don't run with the regular things. You can't say these can save the MCU or something like that. They are never supposed to do that in the first place. But yeah, whatever. But it's the only decent thing coming out, comic book wise, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. Bazzil's in the chat. Hi, Bazzil.
Yeah, hi, Bazzil. Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. That's the last of our stuff for today.
Yes, this time a short list, thanks to the writer's strike.
Right.
And also thanks that Dune hasn't come out yet. Normally this would also be on the list. But,
that's true. We'll cover that next time, and we'll also cover Resident Alien, season 3.
Yeah, season 3 of Resident Alien. That's also a thing I'm looking forward to. One of the rare TV shows that are entertaining nowadays.
That's true, and it's a TV show that we both enjoy. That's rare.
Yeah, and Greg, you have already seen the first 2 episodes, or not?
Yeah, I have.
And can you say, are they good or?
Yeah, the quality is maintained, maybe even slightly improved over season 2.
Oh, very cool. Oh, that's
at least the early part.
That's good news. Thanks God. So I'm really looking forward to watch that through, to binge watch that, and
yeah, those are available on YouTube right now. So I'll try and send you a link later. No, it's also available on Peacock if you have Peacock, along with the first 2 seasons.
Greg, I try to watch them in German. I'm
okay. Well,
in German.
You want to see them in the original German, huh?
Yeah, in the original German, in the original German alien language. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's about it for today.
Yeah, I would say we are done, and thanks for listening and watching. And next time probably a bit longer, but as I said, thanks to the writer's strike, we are now
a little
done.
shorter.
A little shorter. So bye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And I see you on Wednesday on Hellraiser. Wednesday
sounds good.
Starts my Clive Barker retrospective series, and then we get
that's our next Cub video.
Yeah.
And goodbye, Orloff and Bazzil and Kat. Good to see y'all. We're always happy to have y'all here. You can come on the panel sometime with us. You ought to come on, Orloff. You have a special invite.
Yeah. So I'm finishing